stressed over my new job, and I'm just wondering if it's going to work out.
Okay, you have the Sun in Sagittarius, the Moon in Capricorn, Mercury in Sag, Venus in Scorpio. Are you involved with somebody right now?
Yes.
It's a good time for that. Is that going well?
Yes.
Your personal involvement with someone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very good time for that. You have a lot of planets in Sagittarius. What I was saying to the lady before, this is really going to affect you, this configuration that's going to come up in the end of November. You have the Moon in Capricorn. The Moon in Capricorn worries a little bit too much about money. So I think that if you can just sort of sit back and relax, because right now there is a harmonious angle with the Sun in Virgo, between the Moon and the Sun for you. So if you can just relax about it a little bit, probably until the end of September. But then if there is a shift, or if there is something that you would like to do to change things, you're going to have plenty of opportunity in the end of November.
What does it mean? Plenty of opportunity.
Yes.
Does that mean that things are going to change, or that I don't know what that means?
If you want to, the nature of astrology, and the astrology that I practice, is that you have free will. The opportunity will arise. There will be choices to be made. And with all of these, planets in Sagittarius, you might want to travel. You may want to go halfway around the world. I mean, you might want to take a PhD. There are all kinds of things that you may want to do. And any one of those choices can be good ones. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you. And to Susan, who is holding on line 2, to Cleo on line 4, and to Mary Ann on line 3, we will get to you. Back with Mary Michele, just a couple of seconds away. The VIP, we have one open line for Mary Michele at 241-1310. Let's get back to the phones now. Good morning, Susan in Mount Kisco, date of birth September 18th, 1969. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning.
Good morning, Susan.
It's not my date of birth, but my son's date of birth. I would like to ask just what's, general about his future.
September 18th was the birthday of Greta Garbo. Is he somebody that likes to be alone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes.
Okay, he has the Moon in Sagittarius. This is a little bit of a hard angle. I think he looks to you for a lot of inspiration. Is this true?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Well, there is the indication that his perception is that, he has a little bit of a struggle between his unconscious and his conscious. But when it comes down to what his hopes and wishes are and so on, he has been inspired by you in the past. Now, this works very strongly against his will, so that can be, a little frustrating. He has Mercury in Libra. He's a good diplomat. He speaks well. He has Venus in Leo, Mars in Sagittarius, Mars Moon. Yeah, the Mars Moon thing is a little bit of difficulty with Mother. He has some trouble with you from time to time, understanding, what it is that you need from him or want from him. What kind of work does he do? Does he do something a little unusual?
No, he doesn't work permanently. He really, that's one of my concerns. He graduated from college, but he hasn't had a permanent job since.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. This is someone that is going to find his place. He's going to do very well. He has a very good mind, and he is very good with people. You may not always feel that. Sometimes you may feel, that he's not so good. It's hard for him to talk to you. But in the outside world, he will do very well, and he will probably at some point work with computers. Thanks so much for calling.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's now get to Mary Ann. Mary Ann's watching on cable channel 12 over in Yorktown, Yorktown Heights. Date of birth is August 19th, 1967, 8/19/67. And by the way, for the following people, for Donna and Ann, please hold on. We will get to you. Let's get to Mary Ann now in Yorktown Heights. Good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I have kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
I'm kind of on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. My son, his birth date is November 24th, so he's on the cusp of Sagittarius and Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by a Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, since I have Virgo tendencies, does that make me not a true Leo? And also, would that make my son not a true Sagittarius? In other words, it's a question about of cusps.
You're born on the 19th of August?
Yes.
1967.
Right.
You are a definite Leo. You're quite a ways away from the sign of Virgo.
I thought the cusp was a 5-day period.
That's a little long. I mean, that's way too long. I mean, usually, I don't work with that kind of an orb. Usually it's, maybe 24 hours, if that.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, and you don't, you have Venus in Virgo and you have Uranus in Virgo. You do have, a lot of Virgo planets, other planets in the sign of Virgo. But your sun is definitely, your sun sign, not your sun physically, is definitely Leo. And you have the moon in Aquarius, so you were born at the new moon.
Yes.
Which is, it makes there's a little bit of a polarity always, a push-pull between what you need and what you want. It's hard to, it's particularly with the sun in the sign of Leo, because Leo is about dealing with the individual, and Aquarius is about dealing with the masses. So there's this push-pull of wanting to do both always at the same time. It's interesting that you would call about your sun and yourself, I realize that the sun is your physical sun is actually very important to you, but you need to focus on one, first yourself, and then the other. I think...
Father's a Scorpio.
I'm sorry?
My husband is a Scorpio.
Right. Well, that's a hard angle to both the sun and the moon, and the idea is that you're working things out. You've probably, I'm sure that you have some pretty knockdown, drag-out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about my son now. Is he going to take after his father, or is he going to be more compatible with me because Sagittarius and Leo is compatible?
Yes, it goes very well. It's fire, and it goes very well. And I think that, it's a time of year right now where you're feeling a little pulled down by things. It's the end of the summer, and you're having to get back on some kind of a routine.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think by the end of November, with this lineup of planets in Sagittarius, you'll be feeling a lot better, and your son will too.
That's good news.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you for calling, Mary Ann. Let's get to Donna now. Donna is watching on Channel 12 over in Yorktown. Date of birth, July 10th, 1959, 7/10/59. Good morning, Donna. You're on with Mary Michele. By the way, we do have an open line, 241-1310. Good morning.
Good morning, Donna.
Hi.
Okay, July 10th, 1959. Did you have a particular question?
Not really, just kind of like a little bit of an outlook as to the coming months.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a homemaker and I work part-time.
Right. Well, you have a lot of planets in Virgo, so it's very important for you to be working and to be constantly offering a service of some kind. Do you work with computers?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you like it?
Yes.
You get better at it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. In terms of, the sun, you have the sun in Cancer, the moon in Virgo. This is harmonious. It's a good aspect. The moon is helping your Cancer sun. The most important thing, as I'm sure you know, is dealing with your children, your family, and that you need to take care of people.
My husband is a Virgo.
Is he? Oh, well, that's very nice. That's a very nice. Carl Jung, the psychologist, he believed that he did a survey. He did a series of and the people that worked the best in combinations and relationships was when the woman's moon, you have the moon in Virgo, supported the man's sun his sun is in Virgo. So it's the most harmonious of combinations. I'm afraid I have to go. Thanks so much for calling.
Okay, thank you for calling. And to Anne and to Joyce, we will be getting to you momentarily. We have one open line at 241-1310. We will be back with Mary Michele in 1 minute.
How far are you willing to go to find a cure for breast cancer? Thousands of women from the tri-state region will walk, jog, or run in the 5th anniversary New York Race for the Cure on Sunday, September 17th in Central Park. Celebrate life with a joyous day in the park and help raise money for the fight against breast cancer. Husbands, significant others, family, and friends can join in the crowd too. Proceeds benefit metropolitan area screening and treatment programs and national research. Call the Race for the Cure hotline at 212-210-3860 for more information about the race and where you can get your application. That's 212-210-3860. You can help find a cure for breast cancer, September 17th in Central Park. Race for the Cure. This public service message is brought to you by your nearby Grand Union.
950 at WVIP, 1310 a.m. in cable channel 12. Let's talk to Anne right now. Anne is calling from Manhattan. Your legions are out there. August 12th, 1942. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning, Mary Michele.
Good morning.
I just want to tell you I just love your program. I listen to it every Friday, and I just wish VIP you would have it every day. I'd love to call you every day.
Oh, Ann, thanks so much for calling.
Anyway, I'm calling you because I'm thinking of a career change. I'm a Leo, and I'm married to a Libra, and I just wanted to know, I'm in the design field, and I'm thinking of maybe doing something a little differently, and I want to know how my signs are sort of, my sign for,
how it's going to work for you.
What?
How it all is going to work for you.
Yes.
Okay, you were born with a lot of planets in Leo. You don't just have the sun in Leo. You have the moon in Leo, you have Mercury in Leo, you have Mars in Leo, Pluto in Leo. There's a lot of, so the creativity is kind of, it's all over the place. You have an awful lot of energy for this kind of creativity. Your dream, you have Venus in Cancer. Venus is the sign of the arts. So there's this underpinning with all of this fire, creativity, and so on. There's this underpinning of you really feeling the most comfortable with and enjoying the most being a mother. Are you a mother?
Well, I do.
Yes.
I wonder if I've changed my, career, how that will sort of interfere with my family.
Well, I don't think it's going to interfere. I mean, it's very important for your family to have you working. I mean, I think that you have a lot of energy, and it's terribly important for you to do something with that energy. So any kind of work that you do and getting out there and being creative in any fashion is the best possible thing you can do for everybody.
Good. So if I really do something different, that really won't upset things.
I don't think so. No, I think it'll make it better.
Great. Well, I'm going to have them all call you, too, and all my friends want to call you. I just love your show.
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
so
Ann.
much.
Let us get to Joyce. Joyce is watching on cable channel 12 over in Yorktown. Date of birth, November 15th, 1926. Good morning, Joyce. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Joyce. Hello?
Joyce, are you there? I guess Joyce is not. Okay, well, I guess she hung up or something like that. So if, Joyce, you are listening, we have a bad connection there. Give us a call back at 241-1310. We also have one other open line. Somebody called. They could not wait on the phone, but they did have a question. Date of birth, 11/24/48. They didn't want to leave a name, but 11/24/48. The question was, there's a possibility, and this is only a possibility of a job change. It would be a competitive type thing. Do they stand a chance? 11/24/48.
Okay, this person has the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Virgo, Mercury in Scorpio, Venus in Libra, Mars in Sag, Jupiter in Sag. This is not a good time for this person to try to shift in what it is that they're trying to do with their profession. There's a hard angle from the sun to the moon in their chart, and also what's going on transiting in the skies right now. But they have a lot of energy to think about it. So any kind of research would be very good. If the job is something that requires additional work, information, research, it's a very, very good time to do that. And the shift should probably happen, when all of those planets move into this alignment in the end of November in Sagittarius. So that will be an opportune time to make the change. Thanks for calling. I'm sorry you couldn't stay on the air.
Okay, let us get Colette. I'm going to put you on hold for 1 second. Joyce finally got back to us, and we apologize for that. Joyce, date of birth, November 15th, 26. Good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now fine.
Great.
November
15th,
26. Was there a particular question?
Yeah, I wanted to know about my health. There's been a lot of changes, and I'm concerned about that. Also, I want to know whether and when I will meet finally my soulmate. Plus, the third thing, I have so many talents to offer everybody. Where can I put it to the greater use for everybody?
What was the last part? You have so many
I have a lot of talents, and I want to put it to use to help people or do something, volunteer work or do something, so that I can help other people and people can help me and we can get along well.
Well, you're quite a good psychologist.
Yes.
So I would imagine that any kind of a help situation where you are maybe a hotline, or you actually go to the hospital, or you go to the church, and you just sit and listen to people.
Yes, I've done that before.
Yeah, well, I think this is something that you want to continue doing. You're very, very good at it. I know sometimes, in as much as it's kind of the nature of what I do, it can be a little, make you sigh because, you feel badly that people keep having these problems and so on. But you should keep up with it.
Right.
In terms of your health, there's sudden things that happen, but then they're over equally as quickly. I don't know what else to say about that. And I think it's great that you're still looking, and it's the positive energy that will bring that special someone in.
And there's always the phoenix that's coming out in me, I cannot, the rubber ball, I can't allow anything to down me, but it comes time when it does.
Well,
and I find it more tiring now than before, but I keep trying, and I'm hopeful.
Well, you should be, and I think it's great, and I think the possibilities are very strong. Thanks so much for calling.
Okay, let's get our final caller for the morning. That's Colette, watching on Cable Channel 12 over in Bedford Hills. Date of birth, September 19th, 1957. 9/1957. Good morning, Colette. You're on with Mary Michele.
Morning.
Good morning, Colette. Such a pretty name, like the writer, the French writer.
Oh, thank you.
Now, 57, September?
Uh-huh.
What?
19th.
19th, 1957. Okay. You have the sun in Virgo, the moon in Leo, Mercury in Virgo. Are you calling about career?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that any kind of, you need regularity in the kind of work that you have. Virgo is someone that wants to know that things are going to happen on a regular basis. And the irony is, of course, that you're very adaptable. You're able to move very quickly with the flow and realize when things need to change and so on and so forth. But it can make you nervous.
Very.
So I think you just have to carry, as we all do, a certain amount of duality within yourself and understand that Virgo, being the sign that rules analysis, is the sign that can best eventually come to terms with dealing with the nature of ambiguities. And the ambiguity that you have is this thing of being very good at the consistency, but also very good at change, and therefore people will call on you to do that all the time. And that can be hard. Is there a particular question about the work?
Well, it just seemed like job hasn't been coming my way lately. As soon as I'm in the nursing profession, and it seemed like every time I get something going, I'm not a nurse, I'm a nursing assistant, it just doesn't seem to pan out. For about a year now, it's been just fluctuating, up and down, and I'm wondering, should I change career?
No, you shouldn't change careers. Give yourself a little more time. I would say by the end of October, there will be something that will come along that will be more consistent for you. Just, carry this duality, as I say, because you're very good at it, better than you think, and don't let it get you down.
Oh.
Thanks so much for calling.
Okay, Mary Michele, we have run out of time, and we do thank the 16 people who got to us this morning to talk to Mary Michele. You will be back next Friday, I assume?
I will.
Oh, good. I can't go 2 weeks without seeing you.
Oh, thank
Mary
you.
Michele
Sure,
on WVIP, and again, next Friday, if you have questions, 241-1310. As the tablets say what?
Hermes on the emerald tablet, who is also Mercury. As above, so below. Be well. Thank you.
Paper advertising, where you look only as big as your ad. On the radio, your business sounds as big as your biggest competitors. To get your spot on the radio, call us. We're the Michael J. Motto Advertising Agency. At the Motto Agency, we can show you how to add radio to your media mix without adding ad dollars. Call Mike Motto direct at 908-665-2500. That's 665-2500. Or you can find us on the internet at www.motto.com. Michael J. Motto Advertising, 908-665-2500. Call now. Who knows? You might be the next Snapple.
Money sense. It's something we all need, especially when it comes to investing and planning for retirement or protecting assets and income. Money sense is what we have now every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Certified financial planner Bob Reeby offers a full hour of timely financial news, information, and opinion. It's live, it's local, and it could be the most important hour of your week. Money Sense with Bob Reeby every Wednesday morning at 9 on the one and only VIP 1310 AM.
Hi, I'm Mary Michele for WVIP, and today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to have an interview for the first half hour with a Polish filmmaker. His name is Andrzej Kwiatkowski, and he's lived in this country for 20 years approximately, and he's made 23 films in Hollywood and all over the United States. So we're going to talk a little bit, though, about this film that he's just made recently. It's a documentary called The Politics of Cancer, A Study in Chaos. First, we're going to show a film clip, a small, segment of his film. We're going to come back, and then we're going to talk a little bit about his astrological chart, and then we're going to talk about his film and what it took and the making of it and what it's about. Thanks so much.
Well, there are 1,400 deaths every day from cancer.
Cancer is a terrible epidemic. When you get it, you've got a tough time.
Incidence of the breast cancer increased. But I don't think this is not an epidemic.
What is 1 million new cases a year, if not an epidemic?
I think the word epidemic is not exactly the word I would use. Epidemic to me implies an infectious process.
I think, again, we get into an area of semantics.
There's no question that it's sort of the number one scourge.
We have an epidemic here. Yes, we have a big epidemic. It's bureaucracy.
Back in 1988, when I was perfectly healthy, I had never been in a hospital before, never had any medical problems whatsoever, I suddenly had pain in my jaw, and it was pain that went up to my ear periodically. It took 9 months for a diagnosis, mainly because I don't think anybody had any idea what they were looking for.
I remember the day when Elizabeth was diagnosed with breast cancer. We were at the doctor's hospital in New York, and she had a biopsy. And then I saw her surgeon, Dr. Ashikari, walking nervously on the corridor. And my antenna went up. I mean, I got alarmed, and he walked and he looked at me and he said, I am afraid I have bad news. It's cancer. I remember blood rushing to my head, and I felt like somebody put a bag full of cotton over my head. Everything was distant. I was sweating. And I asked him, so where do we go from here?
Hi, I'm Mary Michele for WVIP, and we're going to talk a little bit about Andrzej's astrological chart here. Andrzej was born in the month of November, in the early part of November. I'm not going to give any dates or anything because we'll keep that kind of private. But you've never had a chart done before, right?
No.
No. Okay, well, you know, astrology is where the different planets were and in what signs they were in at the time you were born. And you have the sun in the sign of Scorpio, as you know. But there are 10 other planets that we're dealing with here. So you have the sun Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio in the first house. So it means really that your personality has a very strong Scorpio bent. The first house is what rules the personality. You do have Libra rising. And Libra is a cardinal sign. It's a sign of diplomacy. But it is a sign that likes to rule. You have a very harmonious angle between the sun and the moon. The moon is our unconscious. It lots of times represents the mother in our life, but also the women in our life. And the moon in Pisces, was your wife kind of inspirational in your work? Was she someone that, or your mother, was there kind of a feminine feeling, do you think? That
Yeah, both.
Both. It's a very nice aspect to have this trine. They're both water signs, and it really means that you have a strong sense of people and the way that you work and what you do pretty quickly. Would you say you're pretty intuitive and you pick things up easily?
Yes, and then I let my brain overrule it.
Well,
and a mistake happened.
Right. Well, it's always hard to remember those earliest things that we have, impressions. You have Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius and Venus. So both your heart and your mind, Mercury is the mind, Venus is the heart, are ruled by the idea of philosophy. Sagittarius is the sign of the philosopher. So there is this compulsion for you to want to constantly be searching in that area. They are both in the house of money. So would you say that in the films that you've made that there has been a tendency to, have you been able to incorporate philosophic beliefs in the films that you've made?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Well, there is this, this indication. You have the planet Mars in the sign of Scorpio, like your sun, and it's in a very healthy place there. It means that you have very, very good energy. You're also an extremely healthy person with this Sun-Jupiter conjunction. The tendency with Jupiter is perhaps liking things too well, consumption, liking to whatever, occasionally maybe eat a little, but it lends to a very strong, healthy constitution. So Jupiter, you have to think of him as being the king of the gods, and if you go to Jupiter and stand on Jupiter, he's you weigh 10 times more than you weigh here. So everything expands, everything's always getting bigger. But he's benevolent and gives a lot of luck, and particularly in the physical body. Let's see, you have Saturn, the planet Saturn, which is where our difficulty is. Did you ever want to be an actor? Were you someone that was in front of the camera ever?
I ended up acting in several of my films, but not because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Only because of circumstances.